If you watched my New England Patriots 2023 NFL draft grade video, you would know that I was fairly bullish on this year's rookie class and Bill Belichick's and Matt Groh's strategy for this year. For my entire draft coverage, I was stressing the need for a corner, an offensive tackle, and a quick slot receiver in the draft. In addition, I was hoping they would take advantage of the deep tight end and edge classes. Well, they did take the corner with Christian Gonzalez, and they picked up Keon White for the edge. In addition, they grabbed Demario Douglas as a slot receiver. But they elected to bolster their interior offensive line as well as special teams with a kicker, punter, coverage player, and a kick and punt returner. Admittedly, I was initially confused about the interior offensive lineman picks, however, I ultimately saw the reasoning behind the picks. Yes, I realized everybody wanted that big bruising offensive tackle and the big play wide receiver, but those guys were extremely limited in number in this draft. So I wasn't entirely surprised that Patriots elected to forego drafting one of them in the first half of the draft. Why? Well, I did mention in my analysis that the 2024 draft class will crush this year's draft class, especially in the offensive tackle and wide receiver prospects. So, I think the Patriots did the right thing and addressed some of their current needs and upcoming issues in the 2023 draft. Most importantly, picking strong talent in lower valued position groups in a weak draft class was incredibly smart in my opinion. Drafting punters and kickers and guards and centers and special team mavens seemed to be like a waste of a pick. But I am glad they did this year, rather than in this upcoming draft where there's a target-rich environment on both sides of the ball in high-value position groups. I have already found around 150 draft targets for the Patriots in the 2024 draft. This year, I plan on having videos covering each round and UDFA targets before the college season even starts, and will update throughout the season. For today, I plan on running through some of the first and second round targets real quick so you can have a nice watch list for the upcoming college season. But before we get into the draft prospects, let's discuss the Patriots' projected needs for 2024 and the talent concerns overall. Before we get started on these, I am simply pointing out some of the upcoming contracts in 2024 and reviewing some of the issues on the roster. I'm not considering the chances of these athletes re-signing or walking. In addition, I am excluding any trades or free agent signings that might occur this year or during the 2024 offseason. So, taking a look, some of the big names are Hunter Henry, Devontae Parker, Trent Brown, Riley Reif, Kendrick Bourne, Mike Gesicki, Jalen Mills, Jawan Bentley, Matthew Slater, Miles Bryant, Nick Folk, Cody Davis, Kyle Duggar, Ty Montgomery, Mack Wilson, Roquan McMillan, Josh Uche, Carl Davis, James Ferentz, Anthony Jennings, Trace McSorley, Corliss Waitman if he's not cut, Tay Hayes, Mike Onwenu, Matt Sokol, Ronnie Randall, Quandre Mosley, Brad Hawkins, Kevin Harris, Cody Russi, and Garrett Gilbert. So that's like 2 offensive tackles, 2 centers, a guard, 3 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, one of them being Matthew Slater, 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 2 corners, 3 safeties, 4 linebackers, an edge, and at least 1 D tackle. So, obviously the team is going to have to re-sign most of these players or pull in a big free agent class. It looks like they have around 35 players signed for the 2024 season. Thankfully, they should have around $133 million in cap space, but I have to expect Kyle Duggar, Uche, and Mike Onwenu plus Bentley are going to be looking for raises. Trent Brown, Hunter Henry, and Gesicki are not cheap and could have a great year and will be asking for a bump in salary. Reif, Bourne, and Parker will also be costly. Now, Mapu should alleviate the Duggar threat to a certain extent. The Sal and Mafi picks should be good for Onwenu. Uche will need to be replaced if he thinks he's worth a big contract. Trent Brown and Reif are up there in age and still will look to get paid. 3 tight ends, 2 receivers. So I think the Patriots are going to have to lean on the draft to get some rookie contracts to keep the cost down. With an estimated 8 picks, the Patriots might be able to fill in a few of those holes with the draft. Looking at the needs, I would roll over the offensive tackle and wide receivers as the top 2 priorities. Upright edge, probably like a big jack linebacker or elephant backer. Safety, D-tackle, as well as another corner could also be a target in the first round, along with 1 promising tight end, just to address some of the 2024 free agent issues. In addition, the Patriots also need to consider the incredibly concerning 2025 free agent list of Mac Jones, Judon, Ramondre Stevenson, James Robinson, Jonathan Jones, Godchow, Barmore, Dietrich Wise Jr., David Andrews, Adrian Phillips, Jabril Peppers, and Lawrence Guy. Plus, McDermott and Calvin Anderson will be up. So the 2024 draft will have to address some of the looming concerns in 2025 as well, especially if they think they're not going for Mac Jones' 5th-year option, which is due the first half of May of next year, or he becomes a free agent in 2025. So, a QB, an upright edge, running backs, corner, 3D tackles, DN, center, and a safety. Now, Keon White should help with the D-line issues. Jake Andrews might be able to be adequate for David. But between the 2 free agent classes, upright edge, outside linebacker, defensive tackle, and safety are big concerns as well. So add them to the top priorities next to O-tackle and wide receiver. Plus tight end, running back, and the big unknown of a potential quarterback. Now, let's try to sort that out. The Patriots could be targeting offensive tackle, wide receiver, an upright edge / outside linebacker, a defensive back who could potentially play cornerback and safety, a tight end, a defensive tackle, running back, and a quarterback. So, 8 positions to target in the draft, with 8 presumed draft picks. Again, I am going to circle offensive tackle, wide receiver, upright edge, and defensive back as the highest priorities of this draft, because of the need for them in 2024 and also the need for them in 2025. Yet, we might still need a tight end in 2024, even with the Frisker signing and multiple D tackles over the next couple years, even if Tavai's brother works out. The point here is, Patriots have a lot of work to do between this year to prepare for the draft and start forming a free agent strategy. This is why I stress the importance of being aggressive with UDFAs this year to hopefully alleviate the scramble that will happen over the next 2 seasons to fill roster and not break the bank. Before we start the list of prospects, I have to point out that these college players on my list have obviously not declared for the draft yet, and I don't know if some will decide to stay another year. This list is not comprehensive and is not perfect. It is simply listing several players in some high priority position groups. I will go over their name, position, and college. I will probably make a brief note about them. Alright, let's get started. Starting off with offensive tackle. Joe Alt, sophomore out of Notre Dame, 6'7", 317. Olu Fashanu, Penn State, 6'6", 321. J.C. Latham, Alabama, 6'6", 326. Kingsley Sumataya, 6'6", 330. Zion Nelson, 6'5", 316. Zion Nelson, Miami, 6'5", 316. Blake Fisher, the other tackle from Notre Dame, 6'6", 327. Amarius Mims, Georgia, 6'7", 330. Connor Colby, 6'6", 308. And Graham Barton, Duke, 6'5", 311. And to round us out is Jack Nelson from Wisconsin, 6'6", 310. Now, I want to point out that these offensive tackles are worthy to be in the first and second rounds. This is not fringe talent being shifted up due to filling the void like what happened last year. I will reiterate that the top 3 to 4 guys are arguably better than any of the tackles in this last year's class. Paris Johnson Jr. and Skoronski were probably the only two guys that would be competitive in the top 5 tackles here. Looking at the remainder of the projected tackle class, I would expect a few more guys to find their way to potential second rounders. Again, I'm pointing out essentially bona fide first and second rounders here. The only question mark to me would be Zion Nelson, who has great talent and I was expecting him to declare last year, but he has a lingering knee injury that could be a concern and hurt his draft stock this next year. For those of you who are wondering why I'm so keen on drafting offensive tackles, they're typically the 4th or 5th highest paid position on average each year. So getting them on a rookie contract is huge. Let's move on to wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State, 6'3", 205, arguably one of the best wide receiver prospects in years. Emeka Egbuka, Ohio State, 6'1", 205, blazing fast, awesome route runner, great hands. Awesome production last year. Xavier Worthy, Texas, 6'1", 163. I think he's expected to run low 4.2s in his 40. Adonai Mitchell, 6'4", 190. I believe he was injured last year. Johnny Wilson, are you ready? 6'7", 235, amazing tape, awesome production last year. Rome Odunze, 6'3", 201 out of Washington, potential real wide receiver 1 candidate. Troy Franklin, 6'3", 178, blazing fast speed out of Oregon. Malik Neighbors, 6 foot, 195 out of LSU. Dorian Singer, USC, 6'1", 185. Jacob Cowing, 5'11", 175, probably the highest slot talent in this year's draft. Arande Gadsden, wide receiver from Syracuse, 6'5", 216, legitimate wide receiver 1 talent. So I think I got about 10 wide receivers that are worthy of first or second round picks. We had maybe about 5 last year that would fall in that first or second round range. I would say Jackson Smith-Njigba and Zay Flowers being the only guys I would 100% add to this list. The best part about this list is that most of these players are what the Patriots are lacking. Big, fast, powerful, legitimate wide receiver 1 material. The receiver class is deep enough, and I would say that about 25 to 30 guys are worthy of first to third round grades. Yeah, almost a whole round of wide receivers in the top 100 picks. Think I'm crazy? Most of the top wide receivers in last year's draft class weren't even the best receiver on their college team last season. Minus Zay Flowers from Boston College and Tank Dell from Houston, most of the other top receivers weren't even the best in their college locker room. I think Harrison Jr. and Egbuka are in a league of their own, but I think we should see a few other guys being targeted in the first round. It is a solid class with diverse talents. Similar to offensive tackles, wide receivers are often top 3 in terms of average salary, so getting them on a rookie contract is big. Now let's talk about tight ends. We have Brock Bowers out of Georgia. He's 6'4", 230. Awesome production over his first 2 years. Jatavian Sanders, 6'4", 249. Good bump in production last season. Jaheim Bell, 6'3", 232 out of Florida State. Brevin Spanford, I thought he was coming out last year. He's 6'7", 270, monstrous hands, and saw a nice big bump last year in production. Cade Stover, not really high on other people's lists, but I like him. He's out of Ohio State, 6'4", 255. Really nice full-service tight end. Brendan Nesbitt out of North Carolina, 6'5", 230. Saw a huge bump last year coming from Drake May. Another guy to keep an eye on is Zach Hines from South Dakota State University, who was paired with Tucker Kraft last year. He's 6'7" and has decent tape. He's not a top 100 guy right now, but it will be interesting to see what his production will be like this year with Kraft gone. The tight end class is definitely not as deep as last year's, but is still pretty solid at the top, with Bowers being the top dog and will go in the first. The other guys are probably second rounders, with some finding their way to third, possibly even the fourth due to the depth of other positions. Okay, let's move on to linebackers and upright edge. Dallas Turner, edge outside linebacker from Alabama, 6'4", 240. Good production last year, despite being on the field with Will Anderson Jr. Laiatu Latu, UCLA, 6'4", 265. Great production last year. I don't know if he'll come out this season, but he's an absolute wrecking ball to get in the backfield. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Clemson, 6 foot, 225. Really great athlete, had his production scores last season were impressive. His teammate Barrett Carter, also from Clemson, 6'1", 225. These guys are very similar in how they play, and they both had great production bumps last year. Tommy Eichenberg, he's Ohio State, 6'2", 236. Can play in a variety of alignments at the linebacker position, is also a great edge rusher. Now, this class is strong right at the top, but is not as deep as last year's class on the upright edge side. All these guys are unique players. Dallas Turner and Latu are very impressive as edge players and should go in the first. The linebacker class is a lot better than last year, in my opinion, especially in terms of depth. Trotter and Carter could be first or second round depending on demand for linebackers. I like these guys, but I also like some potential value picks that should happen at the linebacker level later on in this draft. Let's move on to D-backs. One of the best names in the whole draft, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama. He's a cornerback. He's 6'1", 188. Kalen King, Penn State, 5'11", 188. Cooper DeJean. Interesting guy. I got him confused last year when I was watching Riley Moss. He's 6'1", 209. His production's through the roof. He had several interceptions last year, and a number of them were pick sixes. Cameron Kitchens, safety, Miami, 5'11", 202, arguably the best safety in the draft. Javon Bullard, 5'11", 180, out of Georgia. Denzel Burke, Ohio State, 6'1", 190, corner. Kalen Bullock, safety, out of USC, 6'3", 180. Keep an eye on him. Malachi Moore, Alabama, 6 foot, 190. Chris Abrams-Drain, cornerback, Missouri, 5'11", 178. Andrew Makuba, safety, Clemson, 6 foot, 185, expected to have like a 4.2 40. Josh Proctor, safety, bullet safety, 6'2", 205. Keep an eye on him for a potential Duggar replacement. James Williams, Miami. Keep an eye on this guy, safety, 6'5", 224. Again, another potential Duggar replacement. Heavy hitter. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering why I'm proposing some corners here. Well, a lot of these guys played a variety of alignments, so they are worth noting because they could be a great value grab in the first or second. I will say the safety class should be a lot better and deeper with a variety of skills and physical talent. Now, let's talk some D tackles. Jerzon Newton, awesome production last year. Illinois, 6'2", 295. Leonard Taylor, Miami, 6'3", 305. Tyler Davis, Clemson, 6'2", 300. Michael Hall Jr., Ohio State, 6'2", 290. Tyleik Williams, one of my favorites, out of Ohio State, 6'3", 315. Dante Corleone, Cincinnati, 6'2", 320. I'm not sure if he's coming out, but the guy is an absolute monster. Rook Ahorohoro, Clemson, 6'4", 295, freak athlete. Can play a variety of positions on the line. The Patriots might not have an immediate glaring need for D tackle, but between 24 and 2025, we have some big names up for a contract. It's possible we pick one of these guys if they slip. However, the defensive lineman class will run real deep this year, so you could get some great value pickup on day 3. Still, if one of the top guys is on the board, you might want to grab him considering how expensive the position is. Moving on to running backs. Travion Henderson. Out of Ohio State, 5'10", 215, awesome comprehensive running back. Blake Corum, short little shifty speedster, 5'8", 210, out of Michigan. Braylon Allen, big dude, he's young, 6'2", 235, not the fastest, but the dude is a bruiser and he's got production. Will Shipley, keep an eye on him, out of Clemson. Raheem Sanders, Arkansas, 6'2", 221. Donovan Edwards, Michigan, 6'1", 204, helped when Corum was out. Bucky Irving, Oregon, 5'10", 194, blazing fast speed, and a nice bump in production last season. Trey Benson, another speedster out of Florida State, 6'1", 215. Now, these running backs are not the level Bijan or Jameer, but I think most of them are worthy of a second-round pick. Finally, let's talk some QBs. Arguably one of the best QB prospects in years, Caleb Williams, USC, 6'1", 215. Strong production his first 2 years. Drake May, North Carolina, 6'4", 220. Massive gun, huge bump in production last year. Michael Penix Jr., Washington, 6'3", 213. He'll probably be at the end of the first round, but solid production. Bo Nix, Oregon, 6'2", 213. Quinn Ewers, Texas, 6'2", 206. He's got kind of an arm, but he's a little erratic. If he can hone it in, he could be a first-round pick. J.J. McCarthy, Michigan, 6'3", 196. Probably towards the bottom. I'd see him maybe as a second-round pick. Now, I want to make a note here that this QB class obliterates last year's class, in my opinion. So if the Patriots have a bad year, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move for a QB. Now, I want to make a note about DNs. There's Jared Verse out of Florida State, 6'4", 248, leading guy, could be a top 5 pick. JT Tumulalo, Ohio State, 6'4", 272, saw a nice bump in production last year. Mason Smith, I love this guy, LSU, 6'5", 300, could play anywhere on the defensive line. He's going to be listed as an edge player, but he's kind of got the Keon White situation. I believe he had an ACL tear last year, though, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays this season. Now, these guys are DNs, which are pretty low on my list, but Dietrich Wise will be up in 2024, and these guys are solid first-rounders, and with some having the potential playing multiple positions on the defensive line. So they might be too good to pass by if one of them falls to you in the first or second round. Edge rushers are top 5 paid positions, so it might be smart to grab one if you think he has potential to be a contributor for a few years. So, there are some of my top prospects for next year. Again, we don't know if these guys will decide to enter the draft. In addition, these players are very, very, very loosely ranked right now. So don't get caught up in the order right now. Just keep these guys in mind as we approach the college season. Now, let's do some mock drafts for some fun and to test out a thesis or two. All right, going to be doing some mock drafts here. So you're probably wondering, why are we doing mock drafts? And, a little bit less than a year away from these guys walking across the stage. Probably 8 months away from even really knowing if any of these guys are actually going to be coming out for the draft, if they're declaring. So the names probably won't look the same in 10 months, but the idea of this is kind of an exercise with, hey, let's take a look at the 2023 strategy. How did it work? How's it kind of work with the 2024 draft? The rookie class, the guys we actually drafted that are going to be on the team, or hopefully maybe be in the building, maybe actually make the roster. That game plan, did it work? And then the idea of look at the college season. These are listed names. You can have a watch list. You can go watch a game and say, like, hey, that guy might be a future Patriot. You take a look at him. Maybe watch a few extra games that you wouldn't usually because there's some potential Patriots out there that you might want to watch. And then the big thing is this year for the Patriots, this season, looking at the offensive line, these guys are a little bit older, getting beat up. You can say, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel in 2024 draft. Same thing with wide receivers. We got some names coming up for contracts. Maybe these guys aren't really performing as well as we would like. The 2024 draft is loaded with decent talent, strong wide receiver 1 potential, right? So there's kind of light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? So let's take a look here. Let's try some out, mess around, see what we can do. They have us picking at 12, so that's like what, a 7-win season? That's on my low end, but it's not crazy. On the high end, will probably be like 10. Well, I actually thought we could win up to 12. If we got above 12, that'd be 12. 10 to 12, I'd be actually happy with. If we got above 12 wins in the season, it's something special's happening, really, in my opinion. Max having a great year, and the defense must be shut down. And Bill O'Brien's just, working his magic. And there's not as many penalties, must be injury-free. So that's why I went with the 9-8. So what we'll do is we'll do a few with at 12, and then I'll probably move back to like maybe 20 where the Saints are. All right, so let's give it a shot here, right? Oh, we got to pick who we're doing. Okay. So PFF only has 2 rounds. That's fine with us because that's all I'm really looking at this point. They're expecting the Cardinals to do a tankathon, which after getting rid of DeAndre, that makes sense. So here we go. We have, that's probably going to be Caleb and Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe a tackle. They need a QB, so that would probably be Drake. Or it could be, switch that, it could be Drake and Caleb. They do need a quarterback, but not sure if they'll take them. They might if Love is really, I bet they give Love another shot. I don't know. If he looks terrible this year, maybe they draft another guy and then try to get rid of Love. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see what Green Bay does in PFF and then in reality this coming season. Okay, so we got them. They could use a quarterback too, that's true. These guys I expect to go defense. They could go offense or defense in my opinion. What else? Huh, this should be interesting. All right, so it all kind of depends on what their big board looks like. Well, we're taking Joe Alt. That's 100%. They have him ranked 4th, which I agree with. They took them out. Wouldn't be crazy. Makes sense. That doesn't really make sense to me. But that gave us Joe Alt. So we're going to go with Joe Alt. And let's, if this is what happens actually in the draft, we're taking Joe Alt. The problem is wide receivers. Marvin's off and Ibuka's off. So Worthy is next on my list. They have him at 26. Wow. All right. So we might have a shot at, say, Troy or Malik. The only problem is if we really miss on Troy or Malik and at 43, I agree with there being a big gap here. But Dorian Singer would not be horrendous. The only thing is, would we consider maybe a D tackle? And then maybe going after... These guys are slots, though. Cowling, Williams, Smith. Jalen, I don't know. I'd have to watch him a little bit more to come up with a conclusion of what he really is. But these guys are slots. So, the board basically... All right, so let's do this. We have to take Joe Alt. Have to. And we're going to take Troy Franklin. And the game, this is it. We won. There you go. Patriots win. Don't even have to look. I don't think we're going to get any better than that. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. All right, let's do another one. Probably not going to get that again, but hopefully we don't actually. So Dallas Turner. So that's, he'd be the, people are going to want him. So let's talk this strategy, which is we got to get rid, like Uche's gone, right? So Dallas Turner would be, in my opinion, better than Uche. Where's Leatu? They're right here. So I also go 1, 2. He's probably more Uche-esque. He's got Richard Seymour-esque to him too. Chop Robinson, if he's in. I don't have him coming out this year, so. But if he is, and he's anything better than last year, he's definitely in play for me for an edge player. So 1, 2, 3 edge guys. Mason is an edge, but he's more of a D-tackle edge. If we can get him later, I wouldn't take him at 18 because of injury unless it looks that good. So he'd have to have a prove-it season to get the 18 for me. But he'd be a guy I'd look at if we can get him at 43. I really like that. But if he comes back, I mean, I'm pretty sure he has an ACL, so it'll be interesting where they put him. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try. Well, let's see my trade. See, 15. See, this was what I would do this because then if we get 15, I can get a shot at Leatu or Chop Robinson. Now, are you going to give me? Oh, you don't have a second rounder. 19 and a sweetener for that 34. It's not really doing it, is it? So we go with Chop, Johnny Wilson for sure. Take Amarius Mims. Sorry that I did that real quick on everything, but I want to get through a bunch of these. So this would be perfect. This would be Bill playing the board, realizing we can still get a guy in a few picks back. We could still get a good edge guy. People overvaluing Dallas Turner. I can get Chop Robinson, and we get essentially Johnny Wilson out of the deal. Now Johnny Wilson is a wide receiver, but he's he's big enough to be the move tight end, right? Which, he's kind of like if Gesicki's gone or he wants too much money, you can draft Johnny Wilson and at least he's there. But then also, he's a wide receiver. He runs wide receiver routes. He plays wide, he plays slot. Very dangerous. I doubt he'll be at 34 though. That's my only issue. I think he'll probably move up and someone's going to want that sort of talent earlier in the draft unless there's some sort of, outside off the field and issues or injury or something. Amarius Mims at 43 is a good pick. I like this better than PFF does because it really sets us up for a solid 2024 season. And it alleviates some of the 2025 issues. All right, let's do that one more time. One more time at 12. Just to see what we get, and then we'll move on to 20. So Kool-Aid, although I'd like to have the value, does anybody value him better? Yeah, so like we go to New Orleans, and they give us 47 again. All right, let's just, that would be a good one. Yeah, see. Why would we maybe take Kool-Aid? Maybe if Jack Jones is really not showing up. Yeah, if Jack Jones really can't do what he was supposed to. Jonathan Jones is going slot and he's going deep safety. You don't want to move him back because he's doing so well there. Maybe we do take Kool-Aid. That wouldn't be the worst idea. Kalen King, same thing there. Wouldn't be the worst. Cooper DeJean would probably be my pick here. If we were going that route, except if Kool-Aid did drop into our lap. So if that's the case, Kool-Aid, Jeremiah Trotter, I'm not looking at until like late 20s. He's just one of those guys, like if the Patriots decide to move back and he's there, keep an eye on him. But I don't think he fits the Patriots mold right now. All right, so let's try this again. Let's see what they got. Who's going for me? Yeah, let's just trade. I know everybody hates when I trade because Patriots trade every year, so they love trading back. So I think I'm doing what they would do. All right, so we get 43. I think I'd go off the tackle there. So I think I'm gonna go. Does anybody want to go back just a little bit? Nope. Xavier Worthy. Could have got Franklin. Okay. We wouldn't know that though. Looks good. Tyleek. Nice. That would be a good draft too. PFF's gonna hate it, but yeah, whatever. All right, new draft. So let's do just, and we're gonna move you to. There we go. We'll go to whatever 21 enter draft. I think we kind of know what's gonna happen anyway, but it'll be interesting. So straight up, would I go with Kingsley or Xavier? I'd probably still go with Xavier. But by not picking Xavier, do we have a shot at Troy? Or Malik Neighbors? No. See, that would be the issue. Now we're stuck with Dorian Singer. So in this case, let's trade back. Let's see if we can get that. Sorry that I'm not talking much. I'm trying to figure out what PFF wants out of this. This did not go the way we wanted it to be, but that's okay. So we're going to figure out. So we'll take Dante, and then we're going to see if we can possibly pick up probably Cowing at 60. So we'll do this quick. Okay, we'll go with Dante. That's what I figured. Well, let's see if we can do that. Oh, 84. Can't do that. No, not even interested. They need 84. Interesting. Let's see if that makes a difference. Not even close, huh? Yeah, actually, I don't know why I'm trying to... I mean... No one wants this, huh? This would be expensive. So that one's pretty rough. Not my best draft at all. But that's PFF. I mean, who knows what they were. The whole point was that maybe we can kind of come in and pick up another guy in the second with the draft, the capital we got from drafting back. So that was kind of the idea, which is, we wouldn't be able to get one of our top wide receivers, but we can get a nice slot guy. I mean, very good. Probably, I would put him behind Zay Flowers last year. So, especially in terms of production and how just his tape is great. I'll probably do a whole video just on him. Not my best at all. All right, we'll do one more from that area. Just to see what happens. Same junk. Let's go 27 and 59 for 21. And next year's fourth, or no, third. Yeah. All right, so we'll take a Donnie for sure. Right, or do we take Bullock? Bullock actually might be a good pick here. No, I think Mitchell's probably a better pick for us. And then we can we'll go through Graham here. And at 59, we'd probably go with either Dante, McCarthy, or Cowing. And I think Dante Corleone would probably be the better pick here. Guy's vicious. Very Jalen Carter-esque in how he plays. Just aggressive, violent. All right, so I'll end it there. Now, wasn't perfect. Trading around did work to a certain extent. And all that was just to basically show you that, I don't want to say it's foolproof, but even when we didn't get who we wanted, we were trading back and targeting, we could definitely make an audible and figure out what we needed to get done. I mean, we almost always came out with at least a wide receiver and a tackle plus somebody else when we traded back. So, and I think we kind of might have to think about that. I mean, unless in this case, like that one where the first one we got Joe Alt, it's like you got to take somebody like that. The other guys that you might have to just sit there and you're looking at them, I mean, again, we don't know what's going to happen this season, but like Dallas Turner just kind of falling into your lap at that level would be something, because he's arguably, I mean, I think he's much more physical in terms of Will Anderson. Will Anderson's just a great technician, but I think Turner physically is going to be, I think he's going to be a freak this year. I don't know if he'll be as good as Will Anderson, but I think his ceiling is basically the same spot. But yeah, I think all these I'd be okay with. It'd be, it would definitely transform the Patriots that year. So anyway, I thought this, I hope this was at least useful. Get you, again, you can kind of see that not taking a tackle last year or a wide receiver, I mean, yeah, it's a whole season. It stinks not to have that sort of talent on the team. We can get both of them this year, right? Now, on the other side of it, the corner situation, let's just go back there. We can talk about this. If we talk about the corners, you got Kool-Aid, Kalen King's decent. I would not put him in the first round last year. Cooper DeJean, I think, is better than Kalen. Actually, I shouldn't say this. Like, these guys would probably be first round, but then look at this. I mean, like, Bullard, I would put him in the 30s, maybe. I mean, most of these guys I would have second round last year. Maybe even, bottom of the second round. So I'm happy we went and we got Gonzo last year. In terms of edge players, you had Verse, right? Leatu Latu and Dallas Turner would be probably first rounders last year. But Chop Robinson would probably be possibly a first rounder last year. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, like, so you got guys, that's the thing, like, the edge guys this year. Yeah. Mason Smith is probably very key on, I mean, he's a little more explosive, a little more physical. They have him at edge. He's more of a tackle edge, whereas Keon, I see, is more of an edge tackle. But, yeah, so that's the thing. So, if we needed to get Dallas Turner, get tackle, and then figure out wide receiver. I mean, if we did, here's the thing. Now, if we did get DeAndre Hopkins, this would be what we needed. You can kind of look for a project guy in the third round, or maybe trade up in the second. But these two guys would change your team instantly. I think like this year, I think Gonzalez is going to change the team. Keon White will find some, a spot there. I think Mapu, word has it that he was actually on the field yesterday, non-contact jersey, but he's out there with the linebackers. So looks like this, the guys they got this season will be out there and will be in the mix. But these two guys on next year's squad would be, changing things, making a big difference. So I'm looking forward to 2024 already. Not that I'm like overlooking 2023, but the 2024 draft should get the Patriots fans, at least not at the end of the season, regardless of the outcome. It's not going to be all doom and gloom, right? Things are looking. How about this? Things are looking up for the Patriots. I think last year was really the kind of the trough. This was the like the bottom, and we're coming out of it. Things are looking good. All right, so I hope it was useful. Again, if you guys like my content, classic, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.